Hey everyone, good evening. My name is Joe Fazio, and I am coming to you live from the house that Newt Rockney built. Just kidding. Thank you for taking time out of your Monday night. I am one of the executive directors of this company called Lifewave. I'm also a graduate of Notre Dame's Business School, and I'm a former player, 4 years of football for the Fighting Irish, and I'm wearing my Kelly Green tonight. Guys, we've got a really unique program to share with you tonight. I'm humbled that I get to do this every Monday night. We're going to talk about peptides and stem cells. We're going to talk about the science behind this incredible piece of technology, X39, stem cell reactivation patch technology. We're going to hear an amazing, very emotional story about a chronic issue that was spurred by a tick on this gentleman. My dear friend Tim is going to share his story. Wait till you hear this. It's absolutely spectacular. Now we're going to talk a little bit about this opportunity that is Lifewave. It truly is a double barrel blessing. I was not looking for a side project, a side source of revenue, but my goodness, when you hear what is available to you, this truly is the most rewarding project, side business, technology my wife and I have ever been exposed to. So again, thank you for joining us. You are on the Patch Like a Champion Monday program. This has been going on for us, I think, since last August. This is not endorsed by the University of Notre Dame, but there's quite a few people associated with Notre Dame that are wearing this technology. This number continues to rise every single week. We are now up to 63 families, former athletes, personnel. We've got a trainer wearing it. We've got a current track star on the Notre Dame track and field team right now wearing this technology. So it's getting very, very exciting. I do need to give the disclaimer. Lifewave makes no promises that this product diagnoses, treats, cures, or prevents any medical disease or condition. Always consult your physician. When your health practitioner finds out that this product is non-transdermal, they typically give their blessing. They don't understand photobiomodulation. We're going to talk about that. But folks are going to be skeptical, but the fact that it works. It truly works. And wait till you hear the testimonials that you're going to hear this evening. Folks, there's a massive movement on athletes using the Lifewave patches. And why is that? It's because phototherapy, photobiomodulation is proven to regenerate and strengthen your cells and body. See, when I was playing college football at Notre Dame, and of course the NFL, you heard a lot about anabolic steroids, and you also hear how sick it made those players. A lot of them are no longer with us. This is different. X39 is actually getting to the mitochondria and elevating a peptide where there's a chemical and electrical reaction in the cells that's making these athletes stronger, faster, and more stamina. Look at some of the Olympians that have worn this. Michael Phelps, the most decorated swimmer, Ronnie Coleman, 8-time Mr. Olympia, Alan Webb. He holds the high school mile record for the mile. A lot of NFL players are wearing this. Mike Tyson, RFK Jr. is wearing this, as well as 130 PGA Tour professionals. Interestingly, Stanford University has been wearing this patch for 20 years. Their former swimming coach knew our CEO and inventor, David Schmidt. Unfortunately, Coach Quick has passed, but it's interesting to see that the Stanford University athletic department put more Olympians on last summer's Paris Olympic team than any other university or college in the history of the Olympics. We know that they are wearing the Lifewave patches. Here's our inventor, David Schmidt, extraordinary man of God, a brilliant scientist and inventor. Ladies and gentlemen, he has 200 patents. I don't know that there's anyone else in the world that has that many patents. Just to give you an example, one of the most brilliant scientists of our past generations is Albert Einstein, and he only has 50 patents. David Schmidt has 200 patents, specialized in age reversing. In 2008, he focused his attention on stem cell research. Took him about 10 years and $4.5 million to bring X39 to the marketplace. Let's talk a little bit about the facts, because this is a big deal. I think our culture is tired of Western medicine and popping pills and taking on more prescription drugs. I believe the pharmaceutical industry does not create cures. It literally creates long-term customers. There's no pharmaceutical drug that's going to solve the chronic disease epidemic. We keep adding pills, but we're not getting to the core of what's causing the disease. The biggest obstacle keeping Americans from living healthier lives is a lack of motivation to make changes. Ladies and gentlemen, look at this statement from the New England Journal of Medicine. Again, very, very important for you to understand why this product is so popular now. The number one indicator of wellness is directly correlated with the number of stem cells in the bloodstream. Our culture right now, it's the hottest topic, peptides and stem cells. And we have the solution with X39. It's so, so exciting. What I didn't realize, and what you may not realize, is the fewer stem cells you have, the faster you age and the slower you heal. Millions and millions of people, are experiencing symptoms of aging. I learned this a couple of years ago. At the age of 30, only half of your stem cells are active. Think about it. Think about the NFL, the NBA, Major League Baseball, the NHL. Guys over the age of 30, you rarely see them on a professional team roster. It's because they're starting to break down, slow down, and age. At age 60, you lose almost all of your stem cell activity. That was brand new information. Your doctor, your health practitioner is not going to tell you that. Why? Because they get incented to give you more prescription drugs. They're tied in with big pharma. I want to introduce you to the father of research of a human peptide called GHK-Cu. Cu stands for copper. Dr. Lauren Picard, please do your research. Look up GHK-Cu, Dr. Lauren Picard. You will see that when you study all of the white papers by this doctor, this is the one human peptide that returns your genes to a younger, healthier state. Look at all the wonderful things that it does for your body. GHK is a copper-bound tripeptide, glycine, histidine, and lysine. It protects the liver, it protects the heart, it produces blood cells, protects nerve cells, supports bone health, enhances energy, improves the immune system. Ladies and gentlemen, my younger sister, has an autoimmune condition that affects the central nervous system. We put her on this patch about a year ago. She's not cured, she's not healed, but the quality of her life, so much better. She's getting bursts of energy. She's getting up and she's walking when she couldn't do that in the past. So we're seeing miraculous testimonials each and every week that will literally bring tears to your eyes. Look at all the things at the bottom that this tripeptide protects against. Breathing issues. Do you know anybody that suffers from seizures? Weak immune system, poor cognition. We're going to talk about neurodegeneration, saggy skin, bone loss, pre-osteo. Guys, we're seeing extraordinary results from wearing this non-transdermal. There's no drugs going into your body. We'll talk about that here in a minute. So how does this light technology patch work? Well, the X39 patch is made up of organic crystals, amino acids, salt, sugar, water, oxygen, hydrogen, and forms a perfect lattice structure. That lattice structure literally is a sophisticated mirror. It's on the back of my neck right now. I put it on there this morning. But whose light is it reflecting? it's actually reflecting your own light. Our bodies radiate a low-grade infrared light and heat. We know this is true because people use night vision goggles to see that light. When the patch is placed on your body, it reflects back your own light to make a change in your body. People ask me all the time, do I need external light to activate this technology? The answer is no. An Eskimo with a big parka on, this product would work on their body because it's activating the light from inside the human body. And we call this photobiomodulation. Light making change in your body, and this light works very fast to turn old cells young again. Photo stands for light, bio, living cells, modulation exerts influence on. It describes a biochemical reaction that occurs in living cells in response to light that is inside our body. I like to overemphasize that because people have a hard time understanding what this concept is. It stimulates healing, it protects tissues from dying, increases mitochondrial function. If you remember the mitochondria from 7th grade biology, that's the powerhouse of the cells that brings food to all of the cells. The mitochondria is actually stimulated. It improves your blood flow, tissue oxygenation. PBM, photobiomodulation, also acts to reduce inflammation. I know we have a doctor of naturopathy on this call, and she stresses how this product can literally reduce inflammation, which is the trigger for a lot of diseases in our body. Look up what happens when you lengthen telomeres. Telomeres are, as an analogy, the plastic cap on the end of a shoelace, and it keeps the shoelaces from fraying. And that's what telomeres are doing to our cells. Protects against apoptosis, actually cells dying. So some examples of photobiomodulation: when you go out into the sunlight, a chemical reaction happens in your skin, and the vitamin D inside your body elevates. That's a form of phototherapy. Another one in the NICU unit, when a baby is born, sometimes they have jaundice. There's an excess of bilirubin, and the nurses put the baby under the blue light, and the yellow pigment is removed. It works every time. That's an example of photobiomodulation. Again, the light that activates this patch is coming from inside our bodies. See, God said, "Let there be light," and there was light, both in the atmosphere as well as on the inside of our body. So now you know what photobiomodulation is. Really cool statement from our CEO, David Schmidt. He says, Lifewave is unique because it is the only phototherapy product in the world that uses the human body as its power source. That, to me, is fascinating. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what sold me. Carl Firestone introduced me to this technology 2 years ago. I politely told him no thank you 3 times. When I did my homework and research, I realized that it carries a U.S. patent, which means it's not a Me Too product. There's nothing else on the market like this. It's non-transdermal. It's not putting drugs into your body, no stimulants, and it absolutely works. You see, David Schmidt had to prove to the U.S. Patent Office that this product literally did what he claimed it to do in the laboratory. And I draw people's attention to the abstract, which is in the lower right. It is a phototherapy apparatus that produces activation of stem cells, pain relief via a non-transdermal container. That's the patch. It's sealed. Nothing's going into your skin. And it increases copper peptide GHK-Cu. It says it right there in this government document. So how does it work? Well, it's a proprietary form of phototherapy. We talked about the nanocrystal, the crystal lattice structure. It reflects light to activate. It's non-transdermal, no drugs, no stimulants, and it's non-invasive. What I like best about this product, ladies and gentlemen, it's a simple daily lifestyle. You see, I put this on, I go about my day, I don't feel what's happening when my stem cells are regenerating. Similar to, let's say you take vitamin C. Maybe you drink some orange juice. You enhance your vitamin C in your body. You don't feel anything going on. So you're simply going to have to trust by viewing all the testimonials, the science, the case studies, the double-blind case studies on our website. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot of doctors, and I'll get to it in a minute, are saying that this is the most groundbreaking medical device in the history of medicine. So it's non-invasive. You could literally avoid surgery if you were to put this patch on your body for a few months. I like to make this analogy. Again, we're not making a medical claim, but X39 is like healing without pharmaceuticals instead of pharmaceuticals without healing. The reason I say that is because there's a lot of people, maybe you know some, maybe you are one of these folks who have been taking the same pharmaceutical drug for years and years and years, and it may not be making a difference. It's certainly not curing anything. I love this analogy. So how do you wear it? Very simple. You wear the patch 12 hours on, and then you take it off at night because it's going to give you a non-jittery form of energy. You throw it away. You let your body rest and rejuvenate while you sleep. Then the next morning, you take a fresh patch and you repeat the process. That is why each one of these cardboard envelopes, these sleeves of X39, has 30 individual patches, one for each day of the month. Drink plenty of water. Ladies and gentlemen, we are chronically dehydrated and we don't get enough electrolytes in our system. I would highly encourage you, if you're going to start this regimen, add electrolytes to your water. That would be sodium, potassium, magnesium. I've heard a lot of people say that the average person only ingests about 600 milligrams of potassium when in fact we should be ingesting 4,700 milligrams of potassium. So we're chronically dehydrated and we're not getting enough electrolytes. The reason we encourage you to use electrolytes is because it's going to give each one of these patches a boost in what it's designed to do to your body. David Schmidt recommends wearing X39 for a minimum of 1 month for every decade of your age. So if you're out there and you're around 60 years old, make a commitment, go on a 6-month journey with us. The patch is only $3 a day, which may surprise people because a stem cell injection or transplant could be anywhere from $15,000 to $40,000 with each infusion of stem cells. So again, this patch is very affordable. There's absolutely no price. You can't put a price on your health, and this is very affordable. Long-term effects: in the first few days, 4,000 genes are going to begin to reset. That represents 1/3 of your genome. Interestingly, within 6 weeks, the brain is going to become balanced. We know this to be true because there's some football players who had a lot of concussions, PTSD, and the brain fog and the symptoms of CTE are lifting and going out of their brain. Within 3 months, your collagen is increased. I know that a lot of the ladies on the call are going to enjoy that benefit. Your nails won't be as brittle. Your hair is going to start coming in fuller and changing color back to a younger state. I went to the dentist, and the hygienist said, "Mr. Fazio, what are you doing differently with your oral care?" And I said, "Why do you ask? That's a unique question." She said, "Because your gums are closing up around your teeth." I thought that was really interesting. I don't need the same level of readers, the glasses that I wear. So I don't have a prescription. I just wear readers, but I don't need as strong as a reader. My vision is getting better. And I think the most compelling statement on this slide happens to be your heart reverses in age. So cardiovascularly, things are changing. Things are going backwards. And who wouldn't want their heart to go backwards in age? We see that from testimonials in spider veins, varicose veins, and also David Schmidt, who sees his cardiologist regularly. He's 62 years old. His cardiologist said, "David, you have the heart of a 28-year-old." So the statement at the bottom is not cliche. It's not anti-aging. It's literally age reversing. I will never take this patch off my body. It's doing so many wonderful benefits month in and month out. I feel fantastic. I'm in my 60s, but I do feel like I'm in my 30s. So give it a try. It's pretty extraordinary. Here's another metric that David uses in the laboratory. This is brain imaging. This is called a topography map. Look at the session 1. This woman is 77. She had a lot of inflammation in her brain. You can tell from the red and the orange color. And then 3 short weeks of wearing X39 on her body for 12 hours a day, each day. Look at how the inflammation cleared out of her brain, improved brain coherence, and then 3 more weeks later, a total of 6 weeks, she had a complete turnaround. Her brain remained calm after wearing the patch for 6 weeks. So this is proof that it's going to bring down inflammation in one's brain. Think about your loved ones, either older or younger, who might have brain issues, maybe PTSD or anxiety or depression, and think about the elderly that may have neurodegeneration or memory loss. This is a fantastic non-drug solution for your loved ones. Here's Dr. Joseph Peck. I heard him say this in person. One of my favorite statements, he said, I can say without a doubt the X39 stem cell reactivation patch is the most significant medical breakthrough in my lifetime. Now, he's done anesthesiology for 40 years, and yet he's saying this little Band-Aid is the most significant medical breakthrough. Truly an amazing, amazing statement. So X39 is so sophisticated yet very simple to explain. The testimonials, ladies and gentlemen, of X39 are life-changing, truly life-changing, and you're about to hear one that I still can't believe it happened, but it did. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen. I'm going to ask my dear friend Tim Williams from Houston to unmute and go ahead and hit your audio. Tim flies for United Airlines. And Tim, tell us a little bit about who introduced you, what was the condition before you got on X39, and then what happened with that tick-borne illness and what happened as a result of wearing X39. Tim Williams, thank you, sir.
Hey, Joe, can you hear me?
Absolutely, thank you.
All right. I didn't know if I was on or not. Thanks for having me on Patch Like a Champion. I appreciate the opportunity to share what has happened to me since I've been wearing this X39 patch. I'll tell you, it's remarkable. Back in 2019, I was actually on a layover in Hawaii, and went to bed that night. Woke up the next morning with a tick stuck on my side, and the next morning I started pulling on it. I didn't know what it was, and I pulled on it. And when I turned the light on and looked down, I found that it was a tick, and didn't think anything about it. But 3 weeks later, I'm at home, and I wake up, and that morning I felt like I was very lethargic and just didn't have any energy. I made my way into the living room and sat down on the couch, watched a little TV. And then when I went to get up, I had no strength in my feet. I couldn't get up off the ground. My wife comes in and says, "Hey, what's going on in here? What are you doing? Usually you're out working on a car or doing something by now." And I told her, I said, "Look, there's something wrong with me. I can't get up." And she thought I was kind of joking with her. And when she realized I was serious, she said, let's go and get you into the doctor. So she helps me out to the car. We get into the doctor, and the doctor says, he starts going over, have you had, been anywhere unusual? Have you changed your diet? Help me here, Tim. There's something that's caused this. And he says, come on, think, in the last few weeks, have you done anything that's out of the ordinary or been anywhere? And I said, man, the only thing out of the ordinary that I can think of is back a few weeks ago, I was in Hawaii on a layover and I got bit by a tick, but that wouldn't have anything to do with my energy or me not being able to get up. He goes, you got bit by a tick? I go, yeah. He goes, I'm going to test your blood now. So he pulls the blood and sends me home. And the next day he calls me And he says, he's come into the office, and I got to go over some things. And my mom had just passed away with cancer, and I said, please tell me it's not cancer. He said, well, it's not cancer, but I do need to talk to you. And so he started going over everything. When I got to the office, he said, have you heard of Lyme disease? And I said, yeah, I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it. And he said, once you have it, the only way you can get it is from a tick bite. And once you have it for life. And my best friend has it, he said. And he said, I want you to get in to see his doctor. And he referred me over to his friend's doctor. I got in to see her, started getting all these injections of, I can't remember what it was they gave me now. But anyway, they were giving me injections, and it didn't seem to be working. I was sick every month for a couple days, 2 or 3 days a week. I would get sick, and then one day, this was years later, 2023. I got a phone call from Carl Firestone, and Carl says, he already knew I was sick. He had been on Facebook, and my wife had posted that I was sick again that week, and he calls me up and he says, hey, Tim, how you doing? I go, Carl, I'm sick again this week. I keep getting sick over and over with this Lyme thing that's going on, and I just don't know what to do. And he says, well, man, I think I found something that might help you. I said, what is it? And he said, man, it's these X39 patches. I said, Carl, are y'all selling? Is this another network thing you're into? I just don't want to do another network thing. And he says, well, man, it is, Tim, but don't discount the product because it's a network marketing program. He said, we're really onto something here. He said, I tell you what, I'm going to send you some of these things. I just want you to try it and just see if it works for you. I said, well, if you send me some, I'll try them, but I probably won't buy any. So anyway, long story short, he sends me some. I start wearing them. The first week, I didn't really feel anything. 3 days into the next week, I woke up one morning, and when I woke up, I felt like there was all this energy in my body, and I said, man, what is this? Couldn't be those patches. And the next day, the same thing. I woke up, I felt amazing. I'm like, man, this is something. Maybe it is the patches. I don't know. The third day, this is a week and 3 days, okay? The third day, I wake up, and man, the energy, I felt great. I felt like I did before I got sick. And I told my wife, I said, honey, wake up. I feel amazing. She's like, what's wrong? I said, nothing. I just feel great. I think those patches are working. And so I said, I'm going to call Carl and order some. So I call Carl Firestone up, and I go, hey, Carl, this is Tim Williams over in Houston. He goes, hey, Tim, how you doing? I said, man, Carl, I feel amazing. He goes, it's the patches. They work, buddy, don't they? I said, yeah, I feel great. And so he said, you got to order some? I said, yeah, I am. And so back then they called it the Diamond Pack. It's the premium pack that we sell now. And I told him, I said, I'm going to buy some, but I'm probably not going to sell them. I just want to make sure I have enough to last me for a while in case this thing goes out of business or something. He laughed. He said, they're not going to go out of business. They've been around for a long time. So long story short, I started putting the patches on. I mean, I've been wearing them for, I signed up February 27th of 2023. And I've been wearing them since then. I have not been sick one time with Lyme symptoms at all. And I tell you, it's been an amazing ride. I feel great. I give them away at work, and people call me up wanting to buy more patches. My Lyme disease is gone. My doctor even signed up. I couldn't believe it. He just couldn't believe the results that I got. When he called me. I called him up one day and said, hey, I need to come in. I think my Lyme disease is gone. He says, oh, no, it's not gone. Once you have Lyme disease, it's always in your blood. We'll find it. Come on in. We'll do your blood work. So I went in, and he pulled my blood work. And the next day calls me up. He says, hey, I need you to come back in. I need something's not right. And I go, is everything okay? He goes, well, just come in, and we're going to pull your blood again. They pulled it again, sent it off. And the next day he calls me up. He goes, man, Tim, you got to come in and see this. The results, the Lyme bands, to have Lyme disease, you have to have 4 to 5 bands of Lyme in your blood. And mine, I was down to like 1 or 2 bands left, and they were so weak that they weren't even affecting my body any longer. So it was amazing. It's like I say, these patches are really something else. They don't heal, treat, cure anything, but what they do is they restart those sleeping stem cells in your body. And your body, once those stem cells reset and restart, they start fixing and repairing everything in your body. It's really remarkable what we're seeing. Joe, that's my testimony, man.
Wow. That's fantastic.
Awesome.
It's defying logic, isn't it? The doctors are baffled. Yeah, I love hearing that.
It's great to have my doctor on my team, too.
Oh, that's awesome. Very cool. Yeah. Tim Williams, thank you, sir. What a fantastic testimonial.
Thank you.
Wow, we love it. So you've blessed a lot of people. So if you wouldn't mind, hit your video and your audio. I'm going to continue on here. And
have a great evening.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you, brother. Ooh, boy. Testimonial right from the hands of God. That was amazing. So, guys, we're going to finish up real quickly here and show you a couple more testimonials. So if you go to thisisinfo.com and click on the top tab that says testimonials, you'll be able to see hundreds of them by human condition or body part. Here's one from our friend Dr. Roger Fitch. He is the X39 Lifewave brand partner. He, as well as my cousin, who's an eye surgeon, they are saying that X39 is the missing link. What they mean by that is you cannot inject stem cells into the eye lest you risk blindness. We are getting hundreds of vision improvement, and I can't get into specifics here, but one of the ladies had 10 days on X39, her double vision corrected. Another gentleman had a condition where he was legally blind in one eye, 45 days on X39, and now he can see out of that eye. Here's one of the strongest before and afters for hair growth and collagen. Not only does this gentleman have more hair growth, but it's a much better color, and his skin quality is significantly improved. The age spots are reduced. Here's my friend Jim. Jim, I know you're on the call, my former teammate, Desert Storm, Desert Shield. He's a U.S. Marine, had a bone spur in this toe. You could literally, and I know that's gross, but you could literally see the bone. It would not heal for a very long time. It would callus over. The podiatrist literally threatened amputation of the toe. Jim started putting this X39 patch on his body, and in 45 days he went in for his pre-op, and the doctor is just blown away because he does not know what happened. He had not seen this before. So for wound healing, X39, regenerating stem cells, get it on your body. The other one has to do with concussions, and we are seeing, like I said, the brain fog is lifting, the brain is becoming balanced. There are approximately 2,000 former NFL players on the study by Harvard Medical School. About 1/3 of them are showing symptoms of CTE, chronic traumatic encephalopathy. And that's a major deal because these guys are hurting. These guys are really hurting, and it could possibly be avoided. I've had 3 meetings with the NFL Alumni Association, and there's a lot of opportunity for these former players who have had a lot of head trauma to put this patch on their body. This is my former teammate Dave Dewerson, 1985 Super Bowl Bears. Unfortunately, he took his life because he could not handle the trauma. And I'm convinced that had this product been around back when Dave was still on this planet, there's a good chance that he and some of these other former NFL players might still be with us. So head trauma is big. Guys, I'm going to shift gears right now. Want to talk to you a little bit about the opportunity because it has been a major financial blessing for my family and I. Lifewave is a 20-year-old company. We're in over 82 countries now, not 75 like the screen says. We're in 82 countries. We just launched in a dear friend in this country of Ireland, so now we've gone global. My team has gone global, and we've got someone over in Europe getting ready to build. But over the last 15 years, we were doing about $20 million a year until X39 came onto the scene, and we burst over 320 million. Last year we did over 600 million, and this year we're going to be a $1 billion company. So you are on the right train. It is moving down the track in a very, very expedited fashion. And if you are thinking about this opportunity, I would say get a position, start patching, just come on board, invest in patches. You're not buying a business opportunity. You're simply enrolling in a program that gets you patches at a discount or wholesale price. Guys, Lifewave is now ranked the #1 company out of all 6,000 home-based businesses. We are ranked #1. So again, it's a patented product. All those other companies, there's some great companies out there, but they're not for me because they're a Me Too product. You can find a lot of those products at Trader Joe's, Fresh Market, Whole Foods, Costco, Target, Walmart, and the like. But you cannot find X39, the real X39, except from the person who invited you to this opportunity, Zoom. We continue to win the Bravo Award, which is kind of like the Academy Awards of business. For the last 5 years, we grew at 3,000%. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm in corporate America. I come from corporate America. There is no company or corporation growing at that rate, but Lifewave is. So jump on board. Don't overanalyze this. It truly is a double-barrel blessing. Now consider this. People don't have the patience to dedicate 3 years to building their own business, but they have the patience to work for someone else for 40 years. Most people dream of freedom, more time with their family, of travel, vacations with a purpose. But when the opportunity comes to build your dream, even if it takes a few years, you're hesitant. Why is that? Maybe this is that nudging that you've been praying for. You can either spend the next 40 years building someone else's dream or give 3 years to your own. And again, coming from Notre Dame's business school, I would put the Lifewave business model up against anything out there, and it would come out favorably. I promise you that. The goal isn't necessarily more money. The goal is living a healthy life on your own terms. So I refer to this as ethical capitalism. It's kind of like a franchise, but I'm convinced, because I see it every day in corporate America, that there's no loyalty. You do need a backup plan, and this is the best plan B I've ever seen in my lifetime. It gives you the ability to manage your own business and to be in business with people who share your values, people that you love. A 20-year-old company with a superior patented product and God-fearing leadership who want to do right by their fellow man. I love listening to David Schmidt talk when he gives his background on the products that he's creating, because he literally references the Bible as the thumbprint and the inspiration by which God used it to help David develop this technology. It's so incredible. I believe it aligns biblically in serving other people and allowing them to improve their health and financial situation. You know, the Bible says it's so much better to give than to receive. I believe that. And in a nutshell, you need to fall in love with the outcome of your prospect or brand partner. And that's caring. You need to fall in love with the outcome of the person you're talking to. And then, you know, you're going to be successful when you help them to be successful. So keep in mind, a side hustle isn't extra work. It's actually a future escape plan. If you've owned a traditional franchise or business, you know that there's high startup costs. There's high overhead, high stress and hours, time away from family, expensive advertising and royalty fees, payroll, employee headaches, trust issues with your employees. You've got rent, insurance, utilities, maintenance, complex bookkeeping, and on top of that, you've got very skinny margins for the product that you are representing. Compare and contrast that with Lifewave. The company handles absolutely everything. David Schmidt handles the patents. The company handles the manufacturing, the website, the marketing, the training, the shipping. You do not have to inventory product. They handle the guarantees, the customer service, the commissions, the back office reporting. Very low entry fee and minimal overhead. So it's passive residual income with significant compounding growth. So here in a nutshell is the compensation plan. This is the way David Schmidt decided to go to market and reward his brand partners for heralding the product. See, Lifewave pays out 60% of each sale, of each dollar, of each patch to its brand partners. You're going to have a left side and a right side, an A team and a B team. And very quickly, to rank up so that you start earning commissions, you do need to herald the message and find 4 people, 2 on your left and 2 on your right. And then you rank up to manager. And then you simply put your head down and do it again. Get 2 more people on your left and 2 more people on your right. Simultaneously, you're helping those people rank up to manager for them to get 2 people on their left and 2 people on their right. If you just become a manager-making machine, the commissions and the rank-ups are going to take care of themselves, and before you know it, you're going to be at some of the highest levels in the organization. At least that's what happened to me. I didn't even know, and I ranked up to the 3rd highest level in Lifewave. This particular part of the commission tops out at $25,000 per week. And again, that may sound overwhelming to some people, 25 grand per week in commission. So if it is overwhelming and you want to earn an extra $1,000 a month, $5,000 a month, guys, we have a plan. We have a system that can help you get there. Plus, you've got a lot of people who care about you that are going to come alongside of you and help you achieve those goals. John D. Rockefeller said, I would rather earn 1% off of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own efforts. And that's absolutely 100% accurate. I believe that as well. See, I get to leverage my time. I've got brand partners, I've got other franchise owners on my team, which allows me to spend more time with my family, which allows me to travel and go on vacations. And even if I step away for a few days from Lifewave, my income continues to grow. This model turns traditional business on its head. There's nothing else in the world like it. There's nothing embarrassing about it. It's absolutely the way to go in business from here on out. So here are the 3 levels by which you can enter the business. Again, you're simply buying patches. You're not buying an opportunity. If you just wanted to try the patches, perhaps the core program is for you. It's the first one on the left. 3 sleeves of X39. Each sleeve is about $100, so you're looking at $295 plus shipping and tax. But if you do want to start earning a referral, a handsome commission, consider the other 2 programs. One is called Advanced, where you're going to invest about $535 for 6 sleeves of patches. If you do the math, like I said earlier, works out to be about $3.37 per patch. But as you go up in level, the price per patch, the price per sleeve gets a little bit more aggressive. If you've got an entrepreneurial spirit and this is the opportunity you've been praying for, I would highly encourage you to come in at the premium level. You're going to get 20 sleeves of product. You're going to get a break on your auto ship, which is down at the bottom, of about 3 months worth. You don't have to take delivery of any other product for 90 days. With the other 2, yes, you would have to take delivery for a husband and wife, a 2-sleeve subscription every single month. And quite honestly, I don't even consider it overhead because my wife invests in a sleeve and I invest in a sleeve and we're consuming it. So I really don't even consider it overhead. But we do put it on auto ship Every single month, we've got 2 sleeves of X39 coming to our door, and that's what keeps you active, and that's what keeps your commissions flowing. So encourage your folks, your brand partners, when they come on board to put this on auto ship. They're going to start giving away a lot of product to their loved ones. You're going to run out of inventory well before you think you are, because this is a very, very popular product. Here are the 2 websites. They're professionally done. One is called thisisitinfo.com. It's going to give you the U.S. patent, the case studies, the testimonials. It's not going to capture your information in any way, shape, or form. The other one, if you're interested in building the business, is called thisisitteam.com. And when you go to that website, you'll see quite a few tabs across the top. How do you onboard someone? How do you go manager? You can look at the 10-step system to ranking up. You can also look at all the different events. There is a X39 launch meeting similar to this one just about every day, every night of the week. Sometimes they're in the middle of the day. So you can check that schedule and just be a good pointer, pointing people to these opportunity meetings. You do not have to know everything about the science, the photobiomodulation. Just point them to these websites, and that'll be somewhat of an education for that new person so that they don't feel overwhelmed, and you can teach them to point people to the This Is It info as well as the Zoom meetings. It's quite a simple system. So you can have exactly what we've had for many, many decades of Western medicine: the medication, the prescription, the needles, the surgery, very expensive, risky side effects, or we would encourage you to put this X39 patch on your body and let your body go into homeostasis the way God designed it. Your body starts to heal itself. It's non-transdermal, it's non-invasive, it's patented, it's safe and affordable, about $3 a day. So, guys, now's the time to make your move. Don't overthink this. I believe that procrastination is the assassination of motivation. If you've liked what you've seen and heard tonight, get back with the person who invited you to this Zoom. Get some product coming. Go ahead and enroll. Again, it's very, very affordable. And like I said earlier, what is the price of your health? Get started with X39 today. You see, condemnation without investigation is the highest form of ignorance. And when Carl first approached me 2 years ago, I condemned this opportunity. But I was being ignorant because I didn't do my homework. So don't let that be you. This is a proven system. It's a proven product. And we can't make any income claims, but it's the best business opportunity I have ever seen in my 40 years since graduating from Notre Dame. I can say that with complete sincerity. So again, my name is Joe Fazio. I live in Orlando, Florida. There's my mobile number. You're welcome to take a screenshot. You're welcome to email me. My 2 partners, Rich and Mike, thank you so much for your encouragement and your friendship and your partnership. We call this Patch Like a Champion today. I'm going to go ahead and stop the share. I'm also going to stop the video. And we like
Recording
to just
stopped.
Open it up right now for Q&A. If anybody has a comment or a question based on what you've heard.
Mike McCoy.
Hey, Mike, how you doing, brother?
Good. Good.
I'm
76, 6'4", 310 pounds of brute muscle, and played pickleball. And I fell a week ago. And I knew eventually something was going to happen because you get injured playing pickleball. I fell on my right hip, which I've had replaced twice. And guys got me up, and I limped over, sat around for about a half hour, came back home, and I put some ice on it, and I took every patch I had in my shelf around my hip. I did take a Tylenol. And after about an hour, probably 70% of the pain was gone. And then I took the Icewave patches, which I don't use a lot because I never get injured, and put those on. And I would say after that, about 90-95% of my pain was gone. Wow. Thank God my hip joint was okay. So I'm still dealing with soreness, but no pain. And I was awesome. Like, okay. But anyhow, it's pretty interesting.
Oh, that's fantastic. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sorry you fell, but at least you had a good solution to overcome it pretty quickly. Yeah.
Hey, Joe, this is Jim.
Hey, Jim. How are you, brother?
Good, man. It was great seeing you this weekend. And, I talked to a few guys at the reunion, and I know we've got a few guys that are suffering with CTE. So, there was a point where I felt like I was dying from that. And, not to be a drama queen or anything. But so I spent a lot of time, and I do a lot of research. And when you mentioned about the lengthening or the preservation of the telomeres, and the preservation of the telomeres, and because that's how apoptosis knows when to turn over your cells, is when the telomeres get short. It's like a timing mechanism. Mm-hmm. But what also happens is, in this naturopathic doctor I've been talking to, and when I was actually telling him about this, and he said, do not stop wearing that patch. Because that patch, and of course we can't make any claims, but what CTE is there's something called the tau protein in your brain, and when the tau protein gets damaged or misshapen, that's what starts causing the plaque in the brain, which is actually the cause of CTE. Now the VA has given up on me. They have told me, we don't have a cure. Sorry, but you're going to die from this. Sorry, we may have a cure, but it's related to stem cells, which is why I originally started wearing the patch a year ago. But they said it probably won't. We probably won't develop that cure in time to save you. I'm like, thanks, doc. Great bedside manner. But anyways, what happens is when your body goes into this autophagy. So not only does apoptosis slow, autophagy, the biggest effect of that is your body goes and it recycles misfolded proteins. And what happens is it actually gets rid of those bad proteins in your brain, which are actually causing CTE. I do believe that there is a cure, and I'm not going to say it's X39, but I don't believe I'm going to die now from CTE. And I think there's so much science in this that we don't, like I said, when you think you're dying of something, you get real interested and you do a lot of research and you geek on the science a lot more than, if you just have a passing interest. And I just, I told you we joke about this. I don't know how much longer I'm going to live. Hopefully it's another 30 or 40 years. But when they find my dead body, it's going to have patches all over it.
That's outstanding. Wow. Thank you, Jim. I appreciate you sharing. Someone asked if we're going to have a recording of this. And yes, I will pop this into a YouTube and send it out to some of the leaders, and they can disseminate the video. Anyone else have a question, a comment? Our guest with the tick-borne disease is still on the call, Tim. So if anyone has a question for Tim, please feel free. All right. Well, I think we will go ahead and close. It's a joy to come into your living rooms on this Monday night. We do this every Monday at 8:30 p.m. So if you liked what you heard, please share with your friends, with your loved ones. And we'll go ahead and close. And I'm just going to share a brief scripture, which is Psalm 30, verse 2, which says, Lord God, we cried out to you, and you healed us. And we thank you for using this little patch to aid in that process. We thank you for X39. We thank you for David Schmidt and his brilliance. You inspired him to create this non-transdermal photobiomodulation technology that truly, truly works. What a blessing it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, have a wonderful evening. We'll see you next Monday, and God bless. We love you. Good night.